Hello, people. This is another chapter review for Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, chapter 17 review. So let's jump into it. It's not a super long chapter, but some important things are happening here. So, as we know, in chapter 16, the creature, just at the very last paragraph, asked Victor to make him a woman, make me a female companion. If you look at the relationship between Victor and the creature as the God to Adam, then Adam needs Eve. Adam needs the female. God makes Eve so that Adam won't be alone. Victor is being asked to make the female version so that the creature won't be alone. So don't miss that allusion and parallelism to the Bible there, to Genesis. So chapter 17 starts out, the being finished speaking and fixed his looks upon me in the expectation of a reply, like, hey, I just asked you for a really big favor. You gonna do it? And also this chapter 17 switches back to Victor as the narrator. So they have conversation in 17, so it goes back and forth, but Victor is now narrating the story again. So the creature says, "This alone you can do, and I demand it of you as a right which you must not refuse to concede." In this chapter, the creature shows intellect and passion and anger, and the vengeance theme comes back, but he's really rational in his argument. He's just stating the case and saying, you know what, as the creator, this is your duty, like you owe it to me. So the second paragraph, the latter part of his tale, had kindled anew in me the anger that had died away while he narrated his peaceful life among the cottagers. The whole first part of the story, a couple chapters ago, it was all about the cottagers and how the creature had found shelter and how he learns to love them. And so Victor probably had a lot of sympathy toward him in the early part of his tale. And this, at the end, he just revealed that he had killed William. The creature said he had killed William, and then he clapped his hands and was happy about it because he wanted to wreak destruction on Victor and his family. So he is on purpose achieving this goal of hurting Victor. So now Victor is all in a rage. His answer in the third paragraph, I do refuse it. No, I will not make you a woman. He says, no torture shall ever extort a consent from me. Like, you can do what you want, but no. The answer is no. It will forever be no, at least for a page or so. Shall I create another like yourself, whose joint wickedness, the two of you together, can destroy even more? So he's saying, you know, look at what you've done. Do I have any reason to make a female for you? Because I'm thinking no. But in the next paragraph, the creature comes back, and again, he's rationalizing, and he has a really good argument based on the biblical story. You are wrong. You are in the wrong, replied the fiend, and instead of threatening, I am content to reason with you. Here's his reason. I am malicious because I am miserable. Okay, malicious. I am hateful and a killing machine because I'm so sad. He's justifying the killing of William because of his misery. And whether or not you agree with it doesn't really matter. That's what the creature is saying. He's saying, I had a reason to be miserable. Now we know he does have reason to be angry because of all the rejection, but you might be wrestling with the idea, isn't there something else he could do besides killing people? Yeah, I would argue yes, but that's just my opinion. Am I not shunned and hated by all mankind? Yes, he has been rejected. And for people even he thought who would love him, the cottagers, if I slowly introduce myself, maybe they will love me. No, he has been shunned by all mankind. Then he says, you, my creator, would tear me to pieces and triumph. Remember that and tell me why I should pity man more than he pities me. This whole paragraph is just filled with really important statements. He even says, you would not call it murder if you destroy me. Like, you're the creator, so you wouldn't call it murder if you take my life. Good point. Okay. Shall I respect man when he condemns me? And so then there's that argument. Well, you could be condemned based on what you did, and that is how the law works. Look at all the pink. It's a pink glow. And then his argument kind of shifts. Let him live with me in the interchange of kindness, and instead of injury, I would bestow every benefit upon him with tears of gratitude at his acceptance. All I want is to be accepted. If I become accepted by mankind, I would be happy. But he says that can't be. I am not being accepted by mankind. I am being rejected constantly. So even though I have tried and I want another solution, it is not to be. Okay? These are insurmountable barriers. But little twist here, same paragraph. He says, I will revenge my injuries. His injuries aren't physical, it's emotional. Okay, he's going to revenge them. He says, if I cannot inspire love, this is a great quote, I will cause fear, and chiefly towards you, my arch enemy, because my creator, that's a direct address, that's why it's set off with commas, do I swear inextinguishable hatred. That's a big time vengeance. Like, I'm coming after you, first and foremost. Have a care. I will work at your destruction, nor finish until I desolate your heart, foreshadowing so that you shall curse the hour of your birth. Wow, Mary Shelley, I can't think of a more horrible thing that someone could say to another person to make them fear for the rest of their life. So that's what the creature just said to Victor. Whew. So the next paragraph, it's like the creature is all, like I get all excited. The creature gets all excited. A fiendish rage animated him as he said this. His face was wrinkled into contortions too horrible for human eyes to behold. Sometimes when I look at the stills, I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting picture of myself. Kind of like that. But presently, he calmed himself and proceeded. He says, I intended to reason. This passion is detrimental. My intent is to talk rationally with you, Victor. I am trying to reason with you and have you see my side. I want you to see my argument. And so he kind of calms down, and he says, if any being felt emotions of benevolence towards me, goodness, if anybody, I should return them 100 and 100-fold. All I want is kindness. Please, someone. That's what he's asking for. For that creature's sake, I would make peace with the whole kind. If one person, just one person was kind to me, I would make peace with everyone. I wonder who could make peace with him. I wonder who could make peace with him. Any ideas? Anyway, that might be secret option C. So, but I now indulge in dreams of bliss that cannot be realized. No one is going to make peace with me. So he says, what I ask of you is reasonable and moderate. I demand a creature of another sex, but as hideous as myself. He wants Victor to make a woman, a female, for him. Then he says, true, we will be monsters. We will be cut off from the world. But I will keep this woman to myself. We will be separated, but I will have someone. We will have each other. She won't feel left out from society because she will have me, and I won't feel left out because I will have her. We switch to the next paragraph. Victor starts out, I was moved. He's moved. He's starting to break down. What did he just say a couple paragraphs ago? I do refuse it, and no torture shall ever extort a consent. I was moved. I shuddered when I thought of the possible consequences of my consent. That means if I say yes, what are the consequences? But I felt that there was some justice in his argument. Victor can see the reason. He can see his responsibility in this whole thing. And he realizes that the creature is arguing to an excellent point. He says, his tale and the feelings he now expressed proved him to be a creature of fine sensations. So if he thought that the creature was just this brute animal, he has proved himself wrong by listening to this argument. And then he questions himself, did I not, as his maker, owe him all the portion of happiness that it was in my power to bestow? Remember that quest for glory, the quest for power, that comes back in this a little bit because Victor sees himself as the key to the happiness, and this is like inflating his ego. He saw the change of feeling and continued. And then this is like a dangle, more kind of incentive. Hey, you know what? If you make this girl for me, guess what else you're gonna get? If you consent, neither you nor any other human being shall ever see us again. We're going to go out to the vast wilds of South America. Okay, now 200 years ago, South America was settled. The original inhabitants had largely been wiped out by disease and through conquest. And so you've got some Europeans that are establishing territories there. There are still some Native Americans who are living there, but you've got a lot of jungle and a lot of unexplored territory. And so he's saying, hey, we know enough about this in Europe where we will quit this country. We will leave. My female and I, we will leave and you will never see us again. And Victor's like, ooh, that's incentive. He talks about he doesn't need the same kind of food. He says, my companion will be of the same nature. Well, do you really know that? I don't know. And we will be content with the same fare. He talks about in the next few sentences a very Garden of Eden-esque existence. We're going to make a bed of dried leaves. The sun will shine on us as on man, and we'll ripen our food. We're just going to eat from the ground and from the trees. And so it's very much like the Garden of Eden. So that allusion, try to catch that. The picture I present to you is peaceful and human. So he's again saying, remember at that point when I said I was benevolent and good, if I have a companion, I will again be benevolent and good. He calls out Victor, pitiless as you have been towards me, I now see compassion in your eyes. Like I'm winning my argument. Oh my gosh, you might actually say yes. He says, like out loud, let me seize the favorable moment and persuade you to promise what I so ardently desire. I want you to say yes. So Victor in the next paragraph kind of clarifies. So you propose to leave the habitations of man, but then he questions him. He says, how can you, who has been so longing for companionship, say that you're going to leave all mankind and never come back when all you want is companionship? And so he's kind of questioning that, but the creature is like, oh my gosh, how inconstant are your feelings? First, you seem like you're going to say yes. Then you seem like you're going to say no. So he says, you were moved by my representations. Why do you harden yourself against me? Again, I told you, like, once I am satisfied with a companion, I won't have these evil feelings anymore. My evil passions will have fled. Look at the tense used there. That's a future possible tense. They will have fled, for I shall meet with sympathy, the sympathy of the female. My life will flow quietly away, and in my dying moments, I shall not curse my maker, you, Victor. In the next paragraph, his words had a strange effect upon me. I compassionated him and sometimes felt a wish to console him. Victor's heart is soothed and warmed, but switch it, hard turn. But when I looked upon him, a parent's theme, when I saw the filthy mass that moved and talked, my heart sickened, and my feelings were altered to those of horror and hatred. As much as the creature is up and down, Victor is up and down. He says, I tried to stifle these sensations. I thought that as I could not sympathize with him, I had no right to withhold from him the small portion of happiness which was yet in my power to bestow. He knows he has the power, that quest for power from the beginning, that comes in here, that quest for glory. He wants to be recognized. Now he kind of like says, okay, well, you swear to be harmless. Like, I already distrust you because you killed my brother, basically. You've shown a degree of malice that makes me distrust you. And the creature in the next paragraph, like, how is this? I must not be trifled with. Like, stop going up and down with your feelings. He says, I demand an answer. This is the creature. If I have no ties, this is important, and no affections, if I am alone in the world, if I am isolated, I will be full of anger. He says, hatred and vice must be my portion. Those things are what he will exhibit and exude because he's lacking love. He's like justifying the future crimes he will commit if he does not have a companion. He says, but the love of another will destroy the cause of my crimes. So he's making it pretty clear. I want love. And if I don't get it, I will commit crimes. Okay, he says, I shall become a thing of whose existence everyone will be ignorant. You will not know me. You will never see me. And he says, you just give me this woman and we will take off. In the next big paragraph, Victor is reflecting. I paused some time to reflect what he had related. He's thinking and rationalizing everything that he has been experiencing in the last few minutes while he's been having this conversation. His power and threats were not omitted in my calculations. Like, he's actually thinking, gosh, who has the power here? If I do what he wants, he says he's going to do this, but if I don't do it, yikes, big time. And so after a long pause of reflection, I concluded that the justice due both to him and my fellow creatures, to everybody else, demanded of me that I should comply with his request. A lot of words to say, yep, I'm going to do it. Okay. Turning to him, therefore, I said, I consent to your demand. Yes, I will. On your solemn oath, you said you're going to quit Europe forever. So do it. And every other place in the neighborhood of man. And I shall deliver into your hands a female who will accompany you into your exile. I will give you the woman. He said, yes. So the creature is super happy at this. I swear by the sun, by the blue sky, and all the good things. Yay! He's so excited. And he says, but I'm going to watch you. I'm going to watch you. Creepy, huh? Gothic element there. I shall watch your labors from afar. And when she is ready, I will appear. So don't forget that Victor is being watched. Saying this, he suddenly quitted me, probably fearful that Victor's going to change his mind again. Yes, no. And he ran down the mountain. Victor watches him run. The last few paragraphs is basically Victor reflecting on that conversation. So anyhow, not a lot of action in the last few. Victor walks home and he's kind of disgusted with himself. Even in my own heart, I could give no expression to my sensations. They weighed on me with a mountain's weight, and their excess destroyed my agony beneath them. Thus I returned home. Presents himself to his family. He's been gone for a little while. He looks wild in appearance. They are concerned for him. Remember when he had his madness and he looked wild? They kind of are like, oh, who's back? Victor from Crazy Town or Victor from like Peaceful? So he resolves to dedicate himself to his most abhorred task, and that's how we leave it off at the end of chapter 17. Anyhow, click subscribe. I hope this is helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.